The wind howled through the canyons of the rugged western landscape, carrying with it the whispers of forgotten tales and the promise of untold riches. In the heart of this wild expanse, a lone figure stood against the elements. Jake Dawson, a weathered gold miner with a gleam in his eye and dreams of striking it rich. The sun dipped low on the horizon, casting long shadows over the vast stretch of desert. Jake wiped the sweat from his brow and squinted at the rocky terrain, his pickaxe clutched firmly in his calloused hands. He had been at this for months, chasing the elusive glimmer of gold that seemed to dance just out of reach. The harsh weather was his first adversary, unrelenting in its assault. The scorching sun beat down during the day, and the bone-chilling nights brought a cold that seeped into the very marrow of his bones. Yet, Jake pressed on, driven by the promise of unimaginable wealth hidden beneath the unforgiving earth. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the mountains, casting the land in a fiery hue, Jake felt the ground beneath him shudder. The very earth seemed to tremble, and before he could react, rocks and debris rained down, enveloping him in darkness. A mine cave-in had trapped him deep below the surface. The air grew thin, and panic set in as Jake struggled to free himself from the entwining embrace of the rocks. It was a battle against time, and with each passing moment, the walls seemed to close in. Just when all hope seemed lost, a dim light flickered in the distance. With a renewed sense of determination, Jake clawed his way towards it, emerging battered and bruised but alive. As he emerged into the harsh daylight, gasping for breath, Jake realized the fragility of his existence in this treacherous pursuit of wealth. Yet, the lure of gold held a grip on him that refused to loosen. One evening, as the biting cold of the desert night set in, Jake heard rustling in the shadows. Wild animals, drawn by the scent of desperation and the glint of gold, closed in on his camp. With a quick draw of his rifle, Jake fended off the hungry predators, but the encounter left him on edge. The wilderness was unforgiving, and he was not the only one drawn to the promise of fortune. In the silent hours before dawn, a group of bandits descended upon Jake's camp like shadows in the night. They were ruthless, their eyes glinting with greed as they overpowered him. In the struggle that ensued, shots rang out, echoing through the canyons. Jake fought with a determination born of desperation, clinging to the dream that had driven him into the heart of the wilderness. Bloodied and bruised, Jake emerged victorious, the bandits fleeing into the darkness. He surveyed the remnants of his shattered camp, realizing that the pursuit of wealth had not only brought him face to face with the harshness of nature, but also the darkness within men's hearts. The stolen gold, now reclaimed, gleamed in the moonlight. Yet, the triumph was hollow, for Jake felt the weight of the choices he had made bearing down on him. The pursuit of gold had cost him dearly, and as he stared at the glimmering metal, he questioned whether it was worth the sacrifice. The following dawn, amidst the hushed aftermath, Jake was struck by a profound realization: the fruitlessness of his unyielding pursuit. With the bitter flavor of triumph lingering on his lips, he gathered his modest possessions and abandoned the aspirations of wealth that had once fueled his endeavors. Through the winding canyons and across the vast desolation, Jake retraced his steps, guided not by the allure of gold, but by a yearning for something far more precious. As he approached the outskirts of a small town, the memories of the life he had left behind flooded back. The dusty streets of the town seemed frozen in time, and as Jake walked through, he felt the eyes of the past watching him. He reached the weathered door of a modest dwelling, his hand hesitating before he knocked. The door creaked open, revealing a figure with eyes that held both joy and sorrow. Emma, the love he had left behind, stood before him, her heart still bearing the scars of his departure. In that moment, the pursuit of riches crumbled into insignificance, and Jake realized the true cost of his obsession. Emma welcomed him back into her life with a warmth that transcended time and distance. The harsh lessons of the desert had taught him that the treasure he sought was not buried beneath the earth, but nestled in the beating hearts of those he loved. In the quiet embrace of their reunion, Jake Dawson abandoned the pursuit of gold that had driven him to the edge of oblivion. The untamed wilderness may have tested his mettle, but it was love that had the power to heal and redeem. Together, they faced the challenges of the present, leaving the ghosts of the past behind in the dust of the western winds.